moms reveal secrets on paternity court.
That's your dad.
Oh, wait,
But it
this
was
is David Dorsey. You said David Watkins.
David
My name
Watkins.
used to be David Watkins.
And it's bad enough you sleeping around outside the marriage. But your wife's sister?
That was an dishonest mistake.
Just always make people feel bad for you, doesn't she? She just always does that. She's about to
But
do
Miss
no,
Munsell?
No.
After messing around with his wife's sister, Mr. Griffin is in paternity court to get his daughter back.
Mr. Griffin, you were a married man who had a 2-year affair with your wife's stepsister, the defendant. You say that relationship produced a daughter, but Ms. Richmond claims you are not her daughter's biological father. Is that correct?
Yes, Your Honor.
When the judge asked the mother about the affair, she defended herself like this.
How do you end up having an affair with your sister's husband?
Not thinking, just being wild at that time of my age, just not caring about anything. I can admit to that. I'm trying to fix it for her now.
Guess what? The potential father was not off of Lakes' leash either.
Mr. Griffin, I have to ask you now. I mean, you a married man, and it's bad enough you sleeping around outside the marriage. But your wife's sister?
That was an dishonest mistake.
How long did this mistake
It lasted, I'd say, about 2 years.
2 years?
About a year. I know a year.
This wasn't no
Oh,
mistake,
yeah.
this was a decision.
Exactly.
Yeah, this nasty entanglement went on for almost 2 years.
So for 2 years, you were sleeping with your wife's sister?
Yes.
Regularly?
Yes.
Often, very often.
Without protection?
Without protection.
Lord. How long had you been married at the time, Mr. Griffin?
I'm still about 10 years.
So you all had known each other for an extended amount of time.
What is wrong with you people?
What I thought was love back in that time.
Oh, because you had worked yourself up that you was
Yeah.
in love with him.
Yes, Your Honor. I think that's why I chose to tell him first before anyone else that he was the father. We slept together more.
This is a good reason to claim paternity, right?
As I remember, he said yes right off. He came over to my house and he picked her up and he went up on the stairs and he, put her up to the light and he said, yeah, she could be mine. And that was the last we ever discussed her really seriously.
That's the last you discussed her paternity?
Of him seeing her actually, of me and him talking about her, being
I never
as
seen
one.
her.
But young Richmond hadn't seen her paternity, claiming father of her whole life.
That you have not seen, Mr. Griffin?
Seen him one time when I was like 14. But
In your life?
in my life, I spoke to him to the first time on the phone like the other week. I never.
That's because I didn't
Talk
know
to
what they was
him.
at. 30 years I've been knowing that she's my daughter.
So you've never had a doubt?
Never had a doubt.
In 30 years?
In 30 years.
While Tommy testified for potential doubt, Daddy at the podium was not ready to accept that.
Her mother's saying there is doubt and you not. How can you be so sure?
Got photos here of when I was young and she's young. Because if it wasn't my daughter, why would the reason she come and tell me that she was pregnant?
Were you with her all during the pregnancy?
No.
Miss Richmond told the court about how she found that Mr. Griffin could be her father.
I got a message on MySpace from Lakeisha. Just a long little thing saying, I think you're my sister. And I'm just like who is this girl? I believe the other people better than believe in
Thank
them.
you.
When I called them, they said that they do not have a test.
Thank
they
you.
said that
From him.
we took ours, but he did not show up to take his.
Well, there is only one way to end that compilation. Let's get to that.
In the case of Griffin versus Richmond, when it comes to 32-year-old Tykia Richmond, it has been determined by this court. Mr. Griffin, you are not her father.
A pernicious and difficult mother means a difficult childhood, but paternity doubt takes things to another level.
Miss Ferguson, you've brought your mother to court today because you were recently shocked to learn that Ken Ferguson, who raised you your entire life, may not be your biological father. Ms. Munsell, you too are unsure what today's results will reveal, but hope that either way they will help you repair the relationship with your daughter.
The trial started with the mother at the podium explaining herself.
Ms. Munsell, please tell me,
how did your relationship with your daughter get to this point?
I have no idea. Just things that were said, things that were done.
It's apparent that you feel badly about it. I see the emotion on your face.
Yeah.
Are there certain particular regrets that you have?
Yeah.
But you
I tried the
understand
best I
that
could.
she has a right to know who her father is.
Yes.
Miss Ferguson, on the other hand, had this to say about her mother's treatment toward her and her family.
My mom goes through crazy moments and acts like her family never is there for her. Acts like her 2 daughters are never the only ones that just want her attention and to talk to her and be there for her. So she was treating us like crap. I knew she was cheating on him. I've seen text messages, I've seen the guys, I've seen her do things that I just shouldn't know a mother to do.
And got interrupted like this.
You're not perfect, and I'm not here to be degraded like this by my own child.
I know, I don't
Then
want to
stop.
degrade you.
Honestly, not know who your father is. You don't know who he is.
Do you understand why I think he could not be my father?
No,
you
I
know
don't.
what I put you
that I
through?
don't even know who my own dad is. Okay, there. Put that out there.
This revelation led to the mommy walking out of the courtroom.
This always make people feel bad for you, doesn't she? She just
Yes.
always does that.
You know what?
She's about to
But
do it.
Miss
No,
Munsell-
no,
Don't-
no.
don't.
This is what you do. You always walk
Yeah.
away. You never can talk
Shut
to
up.
me.
Miss Munsell's infidelity had ruined her daughter to the core.
I cheated on every person I was with until today. Can't stand my mom. She thinks I'm gonna, yes, I am gay, by the way. I came out to my mom. That's the only thing she accepted me with.
And she did support you.
That's the only thing she's ever supported me with.
You were told by your stepfather that Mr. Ferguson may not be your father.
Yes.
Mr. Ferguson testified that he also had doubts.
Miss Ferguson, this young woman was your daughter.
Yeah, I believe she was my daughter.
Why do you have the doubt?
When I first met her at a party, I found out after this because that's when we met. She slept with 4 guys that night. It was my
4
friend.
guys in one night. You know this for a fact or you heard?
No, it's fact. She slept with a lot of guys before she got pregnant while we lived together.
After that somber part, all the mother could give was this closure to her daughter.
I'm not a perfect mom. I never tried to be. But I love you, and I never once regretted having you.
You've always wanted to repair a relationship.
Yeah,
Why are you
I
gonna
did
act
it until
like
you
that?
can stand there and degrade me like you have been.
I'm telling the truth because you know that's
Now-
the truth.
Now, let us end this for good.
In the case of Ferguson versus Munsell, when it comes to Alicia Ferguson, Mr. Ferguson, you are her father.
This sucks.
I told you.
A 28-year-old secret is finally out, and it can only be solved through a DNA test.
Ms. Lawrence, you claim that 6 months ago, your mother, the defendant, shared a secret she'd kept from you your entire life. After 28 years believing one man was your biological father, you've now learned it may be another.
Miss Simmons agreed to statement her daughter calming in the court.
Now, Ms. Simmons, you admit to keeping a lifelong secret from your daughter. You claim you recently ran into an ex-lover on a bus. You say that for the very first time, you told this man that he could be your daughter's dad.
So this is how the awkward beans got spilled in the first place.
How your mother revealed her 28-year.
She called me about 6 months ago. When I answered the phone, she was hysterically crying, and of course, I didn't know what was going on. And then finally, she goes into saying that she met some random man on the bus and that he could possibly be my father.
She says that someone else could be your
That
father.
someone else can be my father.
While the mommy recollected the whole thing like this.
Rudy on the bus one day on the way from school. And I'm like, I know him, from my past. I've never forgotten him. And I say, excuse me, is your name Rudolph? And he says, yes. I say, Rudolph Rockamore. He says, yes, it is. So we, conversated for a while, like, where have you been? I haven't seen you in a long time. When did you come back to LA?
But why hide things for so long?
And you've held this secret by yourself all these years?
Actually, I wasn't even really sure because me and her dad had broken up. Went back home and got with her dad. I found out like I was almost 3 months pregnant.
But once you realized you were pregnant, you knew in your mind that you were not certain who your daughter's father was.
Miss Simmons furthermore defended herself like this.
But that's what I want to know too. Like, even still, if you didn't see him, like, I don't know.
I mean, why bring up somebody that's not there? He was non-existent.
If you hadn't run into him on this bus, this was a done deal for you. You would go to your grave with your daughter thinking.
And that's exactly what she said.
And how does that make you feel?
That's deep. That hurts.
While Miss Lawrence had this take on the whole revelation.
With all of this happening, like everything was happening so fast. One day she'd tell me about him. The next day, sending the man picture. I don't know this man. I've never heard him. I never heard about him. Rudolph.
Next judge called to the guy from the bus, and Miss Lawrence had this reaction to his presence.
When Mr. Rockmore walked into this courtroom just now, you felt nothing.
Besides us having the same skin color, no.
I was looking at her and
You were looking at her because you recognized her, or you were looking at her?
I didn't recognize her. I was looking because she was looking good, and then I was looking. I was saying to myself, well, she got some beautiful lips.
He also told the courts this.
She put her glasses down and looked, and I said, oh, okay. And I remembered her and got her phone number. We exchanged numbers, and I got off, and she spoke. You know, she had called me, and we talked for a while. She said she had something to tell me. She said I might have a daughter. And then she told me she was 28 years old, and I was like, wait a minute.
Now, it's time to end this real long mystery.
These results, as prepared by DNA Diagnostics, read as follows. In the case of Lawrence versus Simmons, when it comes to 29-year-old Mr. Rockmore, you are her father.
What would anyone do if their mother seemed to be lying about paternity? Well, get to paternity court, I guess.
You have brought your mother to court because you claim she lied to you about the identity of your biological father. Is that correct?
Yes, Your Honor.
Ms. Osborne, you admit your daughter believed that Mr. Fitzmaurice was her dad, but now stand in court to prove that another man is her biological father. Is that correct?
Yes, Your Honor.
However, things weren't that simple, as there was a lot to be revealed.
I grew up thinking that Billy was my father, and then all of a sudden, when I was about 12, I got told otherwise.
What happened when you were 12?
We were just sitting watching TV, and all of a sudden, she looks at me, she says, you know, there's a possibility that another man could be your father.
And what was your reaction?
At the moment, I didn't know what to do. I kind of just left the room and went and called my aunt.
And your aunt, Ms. Brooks?
Brooke remembered the phone call part like this.
Do you remember that call?
Yes, I do.
What happened?
Savannah was very upset because she thought that Billy, my brother, was not her father. And I assured her that I believe 100% that Billy is her father.
You've never had a doubt?
I've never had a doubt.
So until you were 12 years old, Ms. Osborne, you were told this was your father?
Yes.
Isn't 12 little young people such kind news?
Ms. Osborne, when your daughter was 12, you told her that someone else could be her biological father?
Yes, I told her that another guy could be her father, but I never told her that Billy Jack was her father.
Wait a minute. So for 12 years, who were you saying was her biological father?
I didn't say who was her father.
Sounds a little odd, doesn't it?
His family took her in. I was young. I knew that they would have a good life for her, and they stepped up and asked to take her, and I knew that they could provide a better life for her at that time because I was young and naive and stupid. So I let them take and raise her. I've been in her life, and I've done things for her, and I'm here today just to put things at rest.
Ms. Osborne told the court why I believed the other guy was the father.
So she'll know who her biological father really is, and I believe it's the other guy.
Tell me about the relationship with the other guy. Why do you think it's his?
Because I was back and forth between the two. I was with the other guy a lot more than I was with Billy Jack.
During the window of conception, you were sleeping with both men?
Yes, Your Honor. But I just feel in my heart that the other guy is her father.
Anna even opened up to her mother on the trail.
It really feels horrible after growing all these years to believe somebody else was my father, and it couldn't be.
I am sorry, Savannah. You was young. When you was 12, I figured that you was old enough to be able to handle it. So I waited to help you because I didn't know how you would react being so young and me telling you that, if it would confuse you more.
However, she wasn't the one questing her paternity, as her sister was next in line.
You say it was fathered by the other man.
That's what I was told, but I also believe that my dad is her dad because we share way too many similarities.
You know what? She's here, so I'd like to hear from her. Ron, can you please escort her in?
Go up to the witness stand right next to the judge.
Who told the court this?
I believe that the other guy is my father. I mean, I've never met Billy Jack. I've just heard stories of his crimes and crazy lifestyle. I have a connection, a relationship with my father, or the other guy, and his family, yeah.
Now it was time to end the sisters' miseries.
It has been determined by this court, Ms. Brooks and Jasmine are not related. Savannah Osborne. It has been determined by this court, Ms. Brooks and Savannah are related.
I love you, Savannah, so much.
Miss Hannon's life spiraled out of contact when her mother dropped this bombshell.
Ms. Hannon, you grew up believing one man was your father until the age of 13 when he said, "I am not your daddy." Your mother then told you on her deathbed that another man, the defendant David Dorsey, is your biological father.
And what her alleged father did to her was just brutal.
Ms. Hannon, you initially believed another man was your father. Please explain to the court.
Well, I believe David Dorsey is my biological father, but I grew up with my grandparents and my mom. Like you said, I was known for a man named Kimball to be my dad. I called him one day for the daddy-daughter dance, and instead of his response being, "Yes, I'll be there," it was, "Your mother's still lying to you, not your dad. You need to go find your real dad."
You found out about David for a time like this.
My mom, we would have our heart-to-hearts, you know, when she got sick. She was sick my whole entire life. You know, she would be talking about Kimball, she would talk about David, and on her deathbed, she told me, "I thought I picked the right one for you, but David's your father."
So just before your mother passed, she says to you, "I thought I picked the right one for you, but David Dorsey is really your biological father."
Yes, ma'am.
Oh, it was time to bring the father into question.
Mr. Dorsey.
How you doing?
Thank you for joining us today. This young woman has waited many, many years to meet you. She's been told that you are her biological father.
Yes, ma'am.
You walked through the doors, you walked right past her, no hug. You didn't even really look at her, acknowledge her.
I acknowledged her. I looked at her.
You don't believe you're her biological father?
Not really.
Oh, Mr. Dorsey pledged that he never knew the plaintiff's mother.
You are standing here at the defendant's podium in this courtroom today saying you know you cannot be Miss Hannon's biological father because you have never met her mother.
No, I haven't, Your Honor.
You don't know her.
No, I don't.
Miss Hannon, do you have a picture of your mother with you? Show that picture to Mr. Dorsey.
The godmother of Miss Hannon testified opposite to the court.
My name is Cassandra Alexander, and I am Fallon's godmother, and I was a very good friend of Fallon's mother, Veronica Hannon. We worked together, and Mr. Dorsey, I have seen him come to the job to bring her mom lunch. Her mom would talk about her baby daddy being David. He still looks the same, but...
Wait, there's more to come.
I remember her mom talking about a David. That's your dad.
Oh, wait,
But it
this
was
is David
Watkins.
Dorsey. You said David Watkins.
My name used to be David Watkins. I was adopted, and he changed my name to Watkins, and then when I got grown, I changed my name back to my dad's name.
And this woman just made this up?
Your Honor, I don't know this woman.
You admit she resembles your daughter.
When she was younger, yes.
After this, the potential stepsister was brought in.
You know we are here discussing the paternity as it relates to Ms. Hannon.
Yes, I'm here to claim my sister. You know, Dad was a Rolling Stone, and like he was very known on the North Side for being David Watkins, the slave of women.
Okay.
Went onto Facebook, and when I seen her face, I was like, if that's not me, maybe about a good 50 pounds ago,
He even said this to the court.
That is my sister.
So you feel like you have no doubts?
No doubts.
Ms. Hannon, are you still confused? What do you feel?
I still feel like she's my sister because we look so much alike. I just want to know for sure. And I really hope he is. I have sisters, I have brothers, I have nieces. If he's not, it's just me and my 3 kids. I love you.
Let's get to the result.
Mr. Dorsey, you are not the father.
I'm sorry, don't be sorry.